morning and welcome to Business Morning, a segment of our breakfast show here on BusinessDay Television. I am Deborah Eze.
And I'm Destiny Mama. Thank you for starting your day with us.
All right, let's move to the first conversation for today. Digital technology is reshaping the way economies grow, business operates, and individual work. Yet in Nigeria, a large segment of population and even sections of the workforce still struggle with digital illiteracy, limited knowledge, and skill in using technology effectively.
Now, this silent barrier often goes unnoticed, but its impact is far-reaching, reducing workplace efficiency, widening inequality, and even slowing national productivity growth.
How significant is the digital literacy gap in Nigeria, and what steps can businesses, government, and individuals take to bridge it for improved productivity?
Now, to help us unpack these, we are being joined by Aanuoluwa Oyewole. He is an architect and founder, Bezalel Design Academy.
Good morning, Mr. Aanuoluwa Oyewole.
You're welcome to Business Morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, let's start off. How would you define digital illiteracy in Nigeria, and why should we be concerned about it?
All right, so if we're talking about digital illiteracy, we're simply talking about inability to confidently use certain digital tools. And these tools are even as basic as talking about Google email, using collaboration tools like Google Docs, or using online forms. So these basic digital tools, they are now very expedient. And if we do not use these things, we'll only be localized. We'll lose out on international global competitiveness. We'll lose out entirely on international opportunities. Our productivity will be drastically low because we'll rely on face-to-face interactions. And in fact, it's still going to put so much pressure on our resources. You can imagine still having to use a messenger to go across one office to another to dispatch memos and all of that. Whereas we can use emails, and this will save us costs, and then we can use our human labor appropriately.
Okay, then, so now how widespread is digital illiteracy across Nigeria's workforce, and what demographic groups are mostly affected?
Okay, thank you. So if we're looking at the widespread, it cut across the general workforce, both public, both private, the education, the commercial, the general workforce. But in this light, the underserved communities are mostly affected. People with low income, people with poor infrastructure in their environment, they are the ones that are mostly affected. The underserved communities, people where there's good electricity supply, they would most likely do better than those who are waiting for NEPA.
All right, so which of the sectors of the economy do you think are the most vulnerable to the productivity losses caused by digital illiteracy?
Well, like I generally, it cuts across the entire workforce. But if we are now going to look at it as which of this sector is most vulnerable, then we would have to look at the education. Why education? First, education, because they are the one who will determine the future. If students or learners are not well trained about these digital tools, then the future is at stake.
All right,
because they do not have sufficient knowledge to even use these things. And next would be the commercial sector, because of the economic power, which to spend money to make money to spend money, right? So the major sectors that rely on building the future, the major sectors that rely on routine and recurring tasks, it is very important that they leverage digital tools to increase their productivity.
Thank you on that. So now can you give practical examples of how digital illiteracy directly reduces efficiency in the workplace?
Okay, so I would refer to the example I gave the last time. Imagine someone has to trek a mile to deliver a memo, and that same task can be done under a second by just clicking send. So now we have to look at harnessing the possibilities that comes with these digital tools. We have to just move on, or else then we would have to spend more to achieve less. In cases where we can spend less to achieve more. one thing that is key or general knowledge is the loss of FAB. You get to certain places, they say, oh, sorry, we can't find it. Utilizing people's database, people's documents. If these things are well done, anybody, even if the person is not on seat in their office, they can treat whatever it is that needs to be done. Possibly someone is on leave and there's an expedient task to be done. The person can easily log into the portal, check what needs to be done, and then approve it. But if this opportunity is not there, then that particular task will have to wait on the person's desk till the person resumes.
Okay, so how do you think Nigeria's level of digital literacy compares to other emerging economies, and what does that mean for our global competitiveness?
Interesting. Well, we've moved, I must say, we've moved, but there's still so much ground to cover. We've moved, but there's so much ground to cover. And our infrastructure system is inhibiting the digital practice. Like I said before, take, for instance, the electricity issue and its effect. Some people, they have constant electricity supply, and some others, they are praying, God, let there be light. You get it. So this challenge is increasing the widening inequality gap, and that alone is another challenge that we'll have to look at.
Okay, then. So that beyond the workplace, how does digital illiteracy impact entrepreneurship and even small businesses in Nigeria?
Well, first, anybody who is doing business and is not online, that person is leaving so much on the table, so much money on the table, because the person is going to have limited reach. That company is going to have limited market reach. Online, you can reach people that you don't even know, thanks to the digital world.
Sure.
Anybody who is not harnessing the digital tools, the possibilities that comes with these digital tools, will definitely experience weak bookkeeping. And how does a business survive with weak bookkeeping? Such businesses cannot even make informed decisions. Whereas the opportunity is there, examine the trends, the market trends, then you'll be able to plan for what would happen. Okay, we've experienced a decrease in this particular product. Why? You can track it. And just after that, you'll be able to plan for the next product or an improvement. So businesses just need to adopt the digital tools if they will go faster and also be highly competitive. And of course, it would help them to achieve more with less cost effect.
All right. So what role should government policy and education play in bridging Nigeria's digital literacy gap?
All right, thank you. First, government, I would say that our government should look at creating enabling environments. Nigerians are trying. An average teen or young adult in Nigeria is learning 1 or 2 digital skills, but they are frustrated with a lack of proper or inadequate infrastructures. So if an average is trying, but yet it appears like they are not doing, then there's something that the government can do to help us facilitate that better. And to add to that is that NGOs, private companies, capable individuals should also look at reaching out to underserved communities. We're doing that at Bezalel Design Academy. We're trying as much as possible to reach out to these underserved communities. And in fact, this week, we're having a digital literacy that was planned for 3 days. So that's part of our contribution to bridging the increasing widening inequality gap. And I remember during one of my presentations, it was said that in advanced countries, once there's about a new launch of a particular digital tool, that company will visit certain communities to train them. Whereas it's not domesticated in Nigeria. Some of the things we know today will probably self-learn all of these things. And this should not be if we are going to grow and if we are going to increase our competitiveness.
Okay. So now, are Nigerian businesses investing enough in digital upskilling, or do you think this is an area where we still lag behind?
We still need to look at it. There's no straight answer to this, but averagely there's a commendable effort. There are certain individuals, there are companies, there are NGOs that are reaching out to underserved communities to ensure that we bridge this gap. Some are teaching for free, some are teaching at a huge discount. In fact, just that these trainings are available is something commendable enough, but there's still so much to cover. And upskilling, sadly, is often treated as an additional cost, whereas it is not. Upskilling is an investment. Training isn't an expense. It's something we must do if we would increase our efficiency. If our productivity is going to increase, then we'll have to upskill, and companies must take this up and train, retrain every now and then. They should retrain and train their staffs every now and then.
All right, so with AI, automation, and digital transformation on the rise, what risks does Nigeria face if this digital skills gap is not urgently addressed?
First, we risk exclusion from global opportunities. We're not going to get the best out of global opportunities if we are still struggling with digital tools, if we are still struggling with increasing our efficiency. We will lose out on global opportunities. There's going to be continued increase in unemployment rate because these digital tools are even replacing certain jobs that we have at the moment. And definitely we would have what is called underemployment. There's going to be underemployment when people think they deserve more, but when evaluated vis-a-vis digital tools, they realize that they do not match up with what they are claiming to do. And the last point here is the issue of cyber risk. If we are using digital tools and we do not know how to use these tools well, then we are also at risk of cyber risk. We would have cyber atrocities. People would easily lose investment. They will lose business opportunities. They will lose to scam and many more issues because they could not use these tools appropriately or tighten certain gaps.
Okay then. So now finally, what practical steps can individuals and even organizations, policymakers take to accelerate digital literacy and by extension boost productivity?
Individuals would have to see it as a personal challenge, a personal goal. I want to be better. And if I want to be better, the challenge for me is I have to adopt continued learning. I have to do better when it comes to learning. I have to go out there to learn, to relearn without waiting for anybody. Self-motivation is key. Nobody should wait to be prompted by a query or by a threat of a sack letter or whatever it is. So individuals should embrace continued learning. That's the primary thing we all must do. And if individuals are doing this, then organizations can take it up to do it at a wider scope. Organizations can afford more than their employees can afford. There are certain tools that are premium. You have to pay to get the best of these tools. So we can't leave this to individuals, and that's where organizations come in. And this also must be done with governmental policies. There should be guiding policies that will put some of these organizations on their toes, that they need to do better, because complacency is really an issue. And we must also partner. Collaboration is the new competition. Collaboration is the new competition. So we must learn to partner with those that have access to probably these industry stakeholders. They should come in, train our staff, train our people, go to underserved communities, train these people, equip them, and provide a better infrastructure just to buttress the enabling environment. Then we'll be able to do better, we'll achieve more with less cost and with less time.
All right, to buttress what you said before we let you go, how do you think mentorship and industry-led training can complement formal education initiative?
All right, thank you for that question. You see, no matter what a man thinks he knows, there's someone that knows better. And at certain points, there would be, I don't want to use the word challenges, but there would be an obstacle an hurdle will have to jump over. These mentors, they have a wide experience. They would be able to guide, okay, this is why you're having this issue. If you change this, if you tweak this, you will be able to achieve more. So we cannot remove a mentorship role from whatever it is that we're doing, either from the traditional practice or now that we're clamoring for leveraging digital tools.
Of what you said, are there incentives that could encourage businesses to prioritize upskilling for employees?
Yeah, there are incentives. One key thing that I must also mention here is that information is power. So we have to go to where the information is. SMEs must learn to attend conferences related to their niche. SMEs, business people, they must learn to go out to seek for knowledge. We have to read more than before.
All right. Thank you so much for your insight this morning on our breakfast show. Aanuoluwa, Oyewole. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate your time.
We'll go on a
All
quick
right,
break
thank
now. When we come back, the business to stay with us.